Hello everyone and welcome to another Wilds of Eldraine traditional draft, and it's a pretty easy first pick, the Elvis Archivist, especially as pack one pick one, because it's the easiest to draft around it a little bit. It's a good one. Yeah, at that point I could see if you are like a red green and in pack 3 pick 1 you open this, it might not be the best thing in that color combination, because you do need a healthy number of enchantments or artifact generating to make this good, but it's simply the best card in this pack as a pack one pick one choice. So let's take it. Yeah, I'm just quickly checking what else this pack has to offer. It doesn't have. It has some no decent quality playables like a Coup up to Shatter the Oath, the spells gone common. Up to Beanstalk can of course be insane in a certain matchup, um, but it was a somewhat of a weak pack, perhaps. And here is, well, I would say there are basically three options in this pack. First of all, the rare, the Feral Encounter can be good, decent removal spell, and later in the game when you have more mana available, it can be a 2-for-1. But there's also Hatching Plans, and there's also Candy Grapple. Candy Grapple is, I think, the safest pick here because, I might not end up in green, and this is definitely better than the Feral Encounter because it has such a flexibility. This can be the strongest card, but requires most work to, make it work. Given my previous draft, I could take the Candy Grapple because it performed so nicely, but I think I'll take this. I'll try. I took a very nice rare. I try to keep green here. Another Hatching Plans, huh? Well, I mean that's the pick now. That is the pick now for sure because I mean nothing comes close to it now. Okay, let's take the Hatching Plans. Blue green. I haven't actually drafted that color combination too much. I wouldn't mind being blue green. Virtue of Strength is not, great at all. The enchantment does, it basically does nothing, almost nothing. The one mana sorcery adventure is like okay, but not really I mean, it's a race dead. It's a playable card, but not amazing. I might take the Collector's Vault because yes, there is the Beanstalk Worm, but the Vault is an artifact and creates artifact. It's great with the Archivist, and it's just a decent card in the kind of green blue decks that I don't know probably try to get the late game advantage, and this can help there somehow maybe. Okay, well now I'm happy I didn't take the Candy Grapple. It is of course a perfectly splashable card, but the it's more likely that green will be one of my colors here, and of course the Root Rider Fawn is the easy pick here over something like a Spell Stutter or the other green options. Very nice mana producing thing. Alright, Smoldering Tithe versus Into the Fair Court. I'm actually the blue has two commons that draw cards. It's pack one, pick six. Um, I'm not taking the Into the Fair Court. I would take it otherwise over the blue or green options, but I also want to collect these mythic rares from the enchantment sheet specifically. It's very hard to get a full collection of those. I mean, 4 of each of them. So I'm gonna take this Smothering Tithe now as a red draft. The pick I would have otherwise have made is the Into the Fair Court. Spreading Seas, Titanic Growth, Diminisher Witch, Scarecrow Guide. These other cards are not worth splashing or worth moving to those colors because of them. Spreading Seas and the Guide do trigger the Archivist. I think I'll take the Spreading Seas. I don't care about the Guide that much. Misleading Modes. Okay, so the off-color cards are Scream Puff and the Boundary Lance Ranger you could consider, but I don't think it's quite worth it. Here I believe I'm taking the I could check the interaction or the mana accelerating. Both of those would be fine. This can also even make a food token, so it triggers the Archivist. I do prefer Johan's Stopgap, so I'll actually take this Return to Wilds instead. And okay, I got the this is what I was hoping for when I took the Smothering Tithe. Because I didn't say, but I did actually remember that I saw an Into the Fair card in the first pack, in fact, from which I took the rare Archivist. But yeah, I got this back now. It's very easy pick. I could maybe consider playing this in a deck that has an Archivist, but Into the Fair card is exactly the kind of card you want to be using with your. Well, I don't have too much mana accelerating yet, but I might find more. Here I'll just take the Gatekeeper. I like it more than these options in this kind of a deck. And Storm-Keld Prowler is... well, blue-green is the archetype that can actually have multiple mana value 5 or greater spells, so I'm gonna take these as a 2-drop. You only need to have one. Oh, I even got the Beanstalk Worm, which I was maybe kind of considering earlier. But yeah, you basically need one trigger, because this puts 2 counters, not just one, so it becomes a 4-3, and then it's like a good value already. Okay, I think the move to blue-green was kind of correct, given how the pack went. Here is a very good white card, maybe worth splashing, but Hamlet Glutton for for the reason that it's just a good card, but especially it is a bargain card, and my hatching plans need some bargain cards. I think that is going to be the first one. Is that the case? And there's no other way to destroy my own stuff either. Yeah, that's right. So I do want to have like more bargain, and this is a good way to start with that business. No bargain here, but a lot of colors for my... Not what did I say? Colors. A lot of options for my colors. That's what I was trying to say. So Curiosity. This is not exactly a Curiosity deck. By the way, the Spreading Seas also triggers the Archivist. That's another reason to have it here. But yeah, I am thinking about that the Frolicking Familiar. It's quite good, and I will have ways to splash already to the Vault, and the Fawn here can produce red or give me red. But also like the Scavenger here gives me food for the Archivist to to pump it. I'm not sure I care about this 2/2 flyer as much. This can at least threaten to be a 5/4. So I'll take the Scavenger here. Okay, Rankle's Prank. Okay, but how about the bargain stuff? There's no bargain stuff. Oh, there's another Gatekeeper though. I guess I'll take it. Ice Froth Sentry is another thing you could consider playing, but I like the early game bounce and late game some kind of a big dumb creature. It will also trigger the Prowler. So yeah, maybe this comes back. I have seen it go quite late, so it could come back still. Bargain? No. Where is the bargain? This is not going to be good in this deck. I suppose I'll take the Tempest Heart. This also picks counters when I play expensive stuff, and I can play both halves here. So let's take this. And I think I could use a 4-drop here. Yeah, that was the first 4-mana card. This is somewhat annoying. There are 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not counting the Admirer because it's quite bad, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 playable cards for my colors. None of them have bargain. So am I going to play... I think I'll play the Werefox because this can create me... I mean, I don't want to necessarily take a third one of these, but this can create me an enchantment which will allow me to draw a card with the Archivist, and it's a decent-ish trick as well. Okay, there's a bargain card, but the better card here is the Picklock Prankster, also quite late stab wound, I would say. Crystal Grotto. I don't think I would worry about the splashes. I have a hatching plans. I maybe have to just take this. Yeah. It also gives me a roll token. I still control the roll token, and it gives me a card because it's an enchantment. From the Archivist here. How many Gatekeepers that is? Do I have a playset of those guys? No, I don't. The thing is, I don't really want to... I have a Hamlet Glutton, 2 of these, and the Beanstalk Worm, and the Into the Fair card. That's a bunch of expensive cards. So I don't think I need this. I'm taking the Mythic Rare for collection purposes. There's one bargain card I could use for splashing, but I don't think I necessarily want to splash for that. Okay, I'll take another one of these, and now that's enough expensive things. Oh, it's a shame I don't have the more bargain right now. Am I supposed to play a sleight of hand or the Outrider? The Outrider is just not what I want to have here. I mean, most decks don't want to have it, but I'm gonna take this, I guess. Filter my draws. Titanic Growth versus Attendant. Well, I don't know. Let's take the Attendants, but it's not the kind of cards I want to have. I got the Sentry. It's a reasonable 3-drop. Don't mind having it. Alright, let's take the Transmuter. I don't think I have that many instant sorceries. 5, yeah, but... Okay, I'm taking the Transmuter. Fine. Okay, Coralsmith. Not a surprise it came back, but I'm happy to have it. I could use a 3-mana creature, but I'm only having 2 bargain cards. Now that said, I have 2 card draw effects. Maybe I don't need the hatching plans, but now there is a 1 playable bargain card here. The Eyes Out. There's also another Tempest Heart. But I suppose I have some 4-drops here already. Yeah, I'll take the Eyes Out. I do want to play the hatching plans if I can crack it with some reliability, and I have the entire pack 3 here. And it's not like the Eyes Out is like bad, it can be a decent card for sure. Alright, I have another Diminisher, which there's also a Threadbind Clake, but maybe I'm not splashing any off-color adventures here. I definitely don't need Fair Court number 3, and the Genealogist is not... I mean, it's, I guess, okay-ish with the Archivist, but I'll just take the bargain thing here. I'll try to make the hatching plans work. And, well, I would take the second Eyes Out over the third Witch here. But there's also an Edgewall in, which I kinda like as mana fixing here. I don't want to play multiple counter spells. And this can of course pick a card back as well. I'm actually taking the mana fixing and then potentially late game get something back from the graveyard. I have at least a couple of adventure cards. Okay, there's a Repercussion, which I don't have a playset of, but there's also Yuhan Stopgap and the Hamlet Glutton. Oh right. I'm not taking the Mythic Rare. I kind of would want to, but I'm not doing it here. I can actually now have a decent hatching plans deck. I mean, this would be I think my 4th bargain card. I would want to have a 5th one, but the only question is which one am I going to have here. Kind of like the Glutton quite a lot here, so I can not play the Attendants. I have these bounces from the Gatekeeper, so I'll take the Glutton here. Okay, I get these bargain cards, but the Diminisher, which is not a very great one. The Stormkilled Vanguard, though, that is really good. What I now would really want to have is more of these phones. I'm happy to have the return from the Wilds as well, because the land fetching will be relevant for sure. I'm taking this anyway. The Sorcery Adventure part can also be quite nice. Can I get a bargain card? Yes, I can. And even a 2-drop, I'm happy to have a 2-drop. Definitely the Oath, but now I think this is 5 bargain cards for the hatching plans, and that's an amount I'm happy with. Okay, which of these is the one I want to have? 3-drop, not sure. I'm gonna pick that now. What is the highest priority? I don't like the sprite here. I don't think I need a fair... Yeah, okay, I think I'll take the 3-drop, that's fine. And still more bargain, but sadly it is the this kind of a bargain. I don't think I need more of that. I do like now, speaking of the bargain cards, I do have the I want to have fodder for them, so I think I'll take the Scavenger here. Also works nicely with the Archivist, giving it counters. So let's do the Scavenger. At least my colors are open. Tempest Heart here, sure. I don't know what to cut, but I have a decent amount of options. Is there a matchup where I want to play 3 of these? It's not impossible, but definitely not in the main deck. Okay, am I gonna take the Witch? I would get some counters with this, but I have other 4 drops in the deck. I'll take the Witch, but I don't think I'm necessarily going to play 3 of them. It's probably not as name as the Sprite deck either. Okay. Yeah, this is a bunch of expensive cards, but these do have the mode with 2 mana, and these can be 5 drops. But let's now first just cut the lands and cut some, make some easy cuts. The Sprite and the Sleight of Hand are easy cuts in here. I think I like all the 2 mana cards. I don't need the sentries. Let's make sure first that I am correct about the number of bargain cards. It is 6. No, it's actually 7. It is 7, yeah. But it's 6 if I cut this diminisher, which... Yeah, well, I mean, with 6 it's actually quite easy to cut one of them at least, yeah. Now it is 6 ways to crack the hatching plans. So, and I have some ways to make, fodder for the diminisher, which is because this is quite bad if you can't bargain it, so that it doesn't hurt you, because the 3 mana 3/2 is just so understated creature. But if you can make one of your opponent's creatures, cursed, that's can be nice to create, depending on what size of the creature it is. So I think I have I have a couple of these scavengers which will make me food tokens I can bargain. This gives me at least one bargain thing, and very late game when I don't need a land, I can even take a human token and a food token from it. So I think that's enough ways to bargain. So I will play these 6 bargain cards in the deck. Then I want to see the creature curve. How many 2-drops I have? Not as much as I would want to, but I mean, I don't think there really were opportunities. I would have picked stuff like Stormcloud, Prowler, and the Troublemaker of high, of course, but I just didn't see them. And these are the kind of cards that often go late. And blue and green were open in this draft. I still didn't get them, so I'm not sure what was going on with that stuff. But my turn 2 plays are Spreading Seas, Hatching Blast. I mean, only 4 of them affect the board, and even this doesn't actually affect the board, but maybe it makes the opponent incentivized to deal with it immediately. But yeah, the early game is the problem here for sure. I just have to live with it. Although, let's not forget, Belluna's Gatekeeper can buy me time to bounce the opponent's early drop. So that actually makes things look quite a bit better, in fact. Then about these 3 drops, I don't need the sentries. Either of those. I like the Coralsmith more than the sentries. I'm willing to also cut the Coralsmith, but let's first see when we go to this up the mana curve here. From these options, I will cut the Attendants for sure, and then the question is, am I gonna cut one of the Into the Fair cards? I'm not going to cut the Gluttons or the Vanguard. They are just good. And the Beanstalk Worm, it can accelerate if I have, multiple lands in hand. It has that adventure option. And I actually do like the Tempest Heart as well, because a 3/4 blocker is decent. It has trample and it can pick up some counters. I guess the Werefox, well, I like to have it as a trick. This also gives me a cursed roll token that I will control, even though it goes on top of the opponent's creature, but that is also one way to draw a card from the Archivist. So the reason I want to have these Werefoxes and these things, which these are cards you could be cutting, but the reason I want to have them is to have a critical mass of good cards to make this good. So I want to have enchantments and artifacts, and of course enchantments are better because they draw your card. Artifacts make this thing bigger, but even the artifacts will be nice. So a couple of hollow scavengers and the collector's vault and the return from the wilds. I don't know if there's any other way to make an artifact here actually. It might not. Yeah, I'm a little short on that, but it's fine. I have enough artifacts and enchantments combined to make it a reasonable card. But I do believe I need to make some cuts in the 5 mana. I guess in the main deck I'd rather play the creature than the card draw. So let's cut one of these. I do have the hatching blast anyway, so that's still 2 ways to draw cards. And the collector's vault does similar stuff, you know, gets me into more cards. This is 26, so I do believe also one of the 4-drops has to go. Now I do like the adventure part here too. I can dig into my good stuff. So maybe it's just a transmuter I should not have in the main deck. Or maybe it's this trick. But I mean, how many enchantments do I have? I was thinking about how often can I expect to draw a card from this thing. Well, there are just enchantments here. I think those 2 are the only ones. Okay, and then cards that make roll tokens are, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 6. So yeah, this is actually not that great of an archivist deck. But I suppose if you get even 1 enchantment or 1 artifact, it's gonna be fine. And if you get another one, it's gonna be great. Or at least better than average for sure. And the opponent wants to remove this, so this is also a removal magnet. You play only you pay 2 mana for this thing, and then the opponent uses some removal for that, so it's not a big deal if they use removal on your 2-drops. So, well, I'm obviously not playing 14 lands, so I have to make some decisions. I guess the Coralsmith is the non-synergizing card, and I don't need it for mana curve reasons either, so I'm gonna cut that. I feel like it's going to be one of the 4s. Fine, let's take a Tempest Heart away. Let's keep the enchantment production. Now this is 24 cards, and I am interested in having 25 in here, but I'm not interested in cutting anything. I want to keep the mana curve. I want to keep the synergy for the archivist. This thing makes me mana. This thing makes me mana. Hatching blast cantrips. This, makes mana especially if I discard non-lands. I could see maybe cutting the Beanstalk Worm still here. It's a possibility. But it's also a 2 mana play if I have like lands, and yeah, maybe I'm just looking at the the mana costs here. 16 lands seems like wrong here. But what would I be cutting? I don't want to cut anything. It's maybe one of the 4s, but I like all of them. I have enough of these early bounces, cantrips and all that. Maybe I will play 16, because in the end I do have 3 other cards that allow me to gain mana, so even though it's only 16 lands. Although one of the 16 lands is the Edgewall Inn, which, can be utilized for a card later, but I really don't know what is the cut. I want to keep all this stuff in the main deck. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ways to trigger stuff like Tempest Heart, so I guess I could see not playing the Beanstalk Worm. Okay, let's cut the Worm. It's basically not synergizing with anything, so let's play 17 lands. That does feel like the correct amount for this deck, given the expensive cards and also the ways to, I mean, I'm not worried about mana flood because I have a Tempest Heart, card draw, the vault, all those things help me to battle flood situations. Alright, suggest 8 plus 8. Yeah, I have double casters from both colors. This seems reasonable. This does seem reasonable here. Okay, that is the main deck. Okay, I'm on the draw, but hand is nice. 2-drop into accelerating. Well, depends on what I draw. Okay, now I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be casting the Scan the Clouds to discard excess lands because I have now the Into the Fair Court, and of course the Return to the Wilds can be used to get the island for it. They correctly didn't crack the Evolving Wilds because I could have had my Spreading Seas here, so they did it, yeah, you know, after they saw there's no risk of that happening right now. Yep, I see no reason to do anything else than attack first, and then do I want to have a food token or a 1/1 human? I don't need the food. Both of them, you know, can be used for bargain. So human and a land. Island. Next turn I can play the Into the Fair Court, making this, by the way, into a 4/3 if it's still alive at that point. They haven't done anything for... Oh, they actually had a decent way to deal with my thing, but oh well. I mean, it's like not a big deal because I'm going to draw more cards now. Yep, keep hitting the land drops here, which is nice here. Actually, I might, you know, now do the Tempest Heart thing, but let's first see how they're gonna proceed. So, okay, couple of forests, but also, you know these black and white things in here. Well, let's attack first. This is not gonna block those ground guys, so let's do that. And then I would want to play the Heart before playing the Hamlet Glutton so that this can pick up the counter. But now the question is, do I actually want to use draw 2, discard 2? Because I like all the cards in my hand, the lands included. So I'm just gonna play this as a 4-mana spell, and then the Transmuter doesn't do much though. I guess I'm gonna leave mana up for the Ice Out, although I'm planning to play the Hamlet Glutton on the next turn perhaps. So I don't wanna use my bargain spells in case I do draw the... you know, the hatching plans. Okay, I'm gonna do this food token, and then I'm gonna play the Tempest Heart, and I won't have mana up for anything. At least the food I can also sack for bargain, because I might want to still have the 1/1 flyer, not sure. But let's see what they do. So it seems like a black and white deck, but they also have 2 forests here. So maybe they play something green. Okay, yeah, they can kill my flyer. That's not a big deal. They can fight with the Tempest Heart, but of course that's gonna be a trade. So you can deal with the flyer. That is okay. That I don't think that was reasonable at all. They lost 2 cards to deal with my 1 card. Well, I mean, maybe they get a card back, but it's still quite inefficient. Anyhow, they can play the Horseman. I'll play my Hamlet Glutton here. I mean, I'm tempted to sacrifice the food token to leave mana up for the Ice Out, but then I would have to sack this thing. So the worst thing that could happen is that they have a removal for my 6/6, And then I didn't counter it, and then it's awkward. Fine. I mean, I don't have to sack the flyer unless I need to absolutely do that. So let's do it like this. Sack the food, leave mana up for a counter spell. What? What is going on in this world? They are at 16, they have a 3-2 and a 4-4. Okay, if they don't have a land drop, they can't double spell them. But it's not like... I mean, maybe they realized that I have a counter spell and they didn't want to face it or something. I mean, regardless, what is that concession there? They conceded it to a 6-6. Well, bad news for them. I have a lot of big creatures in the deck. Alright, anything worth sideboarding based on what I saw? I mean, I didn't see a lot. I did see that they have a -1/-1 effect, but that basically... I mean... The toughness 1 creatures I have are, you know, these that can, you know, both grow in size. So I'm not going to sideboard them out. I don't think I need to get more card draw here either. I'll just have this same build in here. Well, they went very aggressive in the previous game. They had like a first thing on turn 4, so... And I can use this Scan the Clouds on turn 2, end of their turn. If I don't have other use for mana. Yeah, especially now. With 5 lands I can Scan the Clouds. Hoping to get something for turn 3. Okay, they still don't have a board presence. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. I don't necessarily discard 2 lands, but it really depends on what I draw. Of course, with the Glutton I am interested in having my land drops, but let's do this. Draw 2, discard 2. Okay. I will play the Archivist on the next turn, hoping it survives. Yeah, this is probably a case of no use for Diminisher Witch. I do like the 4-drops though. I do like my land drops as well, but I guess the assumption is that I will draw some lands. I kind of want to discard 1 island here. Because I will still have 4 lands and I can play these 4-drops, if nothing else. So yeah, let's do this. And of course another 4-drop here. So let's hope this doesn't get killed, but I mean if it does, then it does. I have a lot of plays to make regardless. So I can basically I could turn this thing into... Oh. Well. That's nice. I think I know what I'm going to do on the next turn. Maybe they will concede to the Glutton again, especially if I get to draw some cards. So I can only do 1 card draw per turn, so I think I'm going to do the Hatching Plans now. See what they're gonna respond with. Now they have to kill the Archivist if they don't want me to draw an extra card. Like so. Yep. And now what I can do... So yeah, I could, you know, turn this into a 1/1, but this only draws 1 card per turn, and this is a sorcery speed thing. My plan is to use the Werefox Adventure on their turn to draw another card. That's my plan here. I can even block the Ginger Brute to do that. Okay, that's a good one. They can actually kill my Archivist now. I think I still draw the card here. I mean, of course I do draw the card. So they can gain some life and then play the thing. But I can... Oh, they have to sack the food token right now. Yeah. So now they will give -3, but I will get to do my Werefox here. I mean the guard change in response. It doesn't save the Alchemist, but it draws me a card. That is the entire point of this interaction. And this, you know, this Werefox will still be in the exile zone as a playable card. Alright, and next turn, Hamlet Glutton cracking that thing. Now I will take some damage. I will go down to 12, but I will go to 15 now. Back to 15. Yeah, I will go to 7 cards, so I won't be discarding the hand size. So if they kill this, I will actually take quite a bit of damage, and it might be a little bit annoying to deal with all they have. I mean, I have enough cards to stabilize and win the game, but they can still tempo me out with enough interaction. They can make this into a 5/4. I don't actually care about them having a life linker here, so let's just do this. I don't mind if the Glutton dies to a pump effect, but a Titanic Growth... Okay, I guess a Titanic Growth, yeah, it would be good, because they can make this into a 5/4 and then have 8 toughness for it. But I guess this will still trade with a Titanic Growth that could have been used to make me go to a, you know, 0 life. Assuming that's what they have. I mean, I assume because they did crack the food, there's some reason for that. Not dead after all. I mean, what the heck? It doesn't kill the Glutton unless they have like a rat out here. Maybe they have that. No, they have that. Okay, now I understand. Now it made sense for sure. And now this is exactly what I was talking about. They can have... I mean, that was a multiple spell turn for them. So I guess I can Spreading Seas the Plains, so they can't cast the Sephard unless they draw that. But I have to now, of course... I mean, I don't have a lot of mana available. I have only 6. Spreading Seas would take some. So the idea is to maybe Spreading Seas the Plains. Okay, let's start with that, because I want to do that anyway. Okay, well that will be useful at some point. Now I could play the Fawn, and then I could bounce the Monstrosity. I still have to deal with the Scavenger. But they have a food token in Gingerbrute, so I mean, it threatens to be a 6/5. I guess I could also bounce that, but then they... Oh, but they have only 1 forest as well, so the bakery raid is actually requiring green, so if they make a food token, then that means they in fact can't recast it unless they draw a forest. Yeah, I think I like this. I could use that thing too as well. Okay, fine. Let's buy time. Lose 1 life from the Wicked token. I'm willing to block the Monstrosity here. Then mana is nice, but I think it's better to... Okay, that I actually need to deal with the switch now. Oh, they let me do this. I mean, that's not even great. Oh, they can sack it. Yeah, no. The Witch top deck was actually amazing, because this makes, you know... I mean, I'm almost dead here. Oh, I'm almost dead. Yeah, the Witch actually does it. That was a top deck. They had an empty hand, because they can just make me lose a bunch of life here. Wow. I lose. I mean, they untap and I lose. I mean, even if I use the... No, there's no way. There's no way, because they have mana to... I could try to exile something, but, well, first of all, they have mana to sack it in response, and they still have 4 foods here, so I'm actually just dead. This doesn't remove abilities, so... Okay, I mean, I just lose here to a Sweet Tooth Witch that they top decked. Darn. Oh well. Didn't help that I got the Glutton with the hatching plans. So I wonder how it would have gone, because their plan was to, because I could have blocked the life linker with my 6/6, that is, and then they could not have killed my 6/6, because the only way that they could kill it was that that they get to sack food to make it into a 5-power creature and then have the -1/-1 available. So this would have been a very different game if I blocked on the poisoner, but who knew? I was basically playing around Titanic Growth, or maybe not playing around, but I was expecting to be facing a Titanic Growth. Okay, how about the attendance? Given what I saw there, it's kind of an interesting, especially against the fight spell they had, Curse of the Werewolves. The -4, -0 can be quite nice, but what is the cut in that case? That's always the question, because I don't want to cut my early drops, and I don't want to cut my powerful cards, and I don't want to cut my synergistic cards. It could be the Tempest Heart. I'm gonna cut that and play the Attendance instead to have like an additional trick. I get to also be on the play now, because of course they were able to overwhelm me in that game. Hopefully I have it. Okay, this hand at least hopefully prevents getting overwhelmed, but of course it's possible I flood out here. Let's hope that's not happening. Okay, that's already something quite good. I could have the Gatekeeper on turn 4. Because you don't have to use the bounce effect. A turn 4 6/5 is actually quite strong. Would you believe it? But maybe the phone dies. Okay, Minstrosity. Well, I'm gonna get a 1/1 to block the Minstrosity, so that's actually quite sweet. Do I need double green more than double? Well, I don't think it matters too much. I'm gonna fetch a forest here. So land and 1/1, which is great against Minstrosity. I can still do this. Yep. So now I can do the Gatekeeper as a 6/5, or I can bounce something. Wow. Okay, well they had an Evolving Wild, so that's fair. Okay, now they can just kill that. So I guess now I will. Well, no. Okay, they can't attack now. Well, they can, but it's a very bad attack, and then I can bounce the Minstrosity. It's worth it. Now that it has the token, I didn't actually need the phone now. I can play the Gatekeeper on the next turn. And now I can play the Scavenger. Okay, now they don't have like a fast start to overwhelm me, but I need to draw something good. And that's not what I need to draw. Yeah, I do have an attack thanks to the food tokens or their blocks. If they double block, I can kill them both by sacking the food, and the Minstrosity blocking alone is not enough because this can have a 4 toughness, so this is fine, and I can play my 6/5. Now, let's see if they have a kill spell on the 6/5, because if they don't, that's still quite nice for me, I would say. Okay, now that witch isn't so scary. Alright, more big things. I can just attack. I don't need to use the witch right now. I don't actually mind if they double block with the 3-power creatures. Not at all. So let's just do the attack. Yeah, they might of course have the thing that brings a creature back, but I need to get rid of that thing anyway, and I have a 6/6 still coming. Okay, that's just a clean 2 for 1 for now. They get some food, but thanks to drawing the Glutton, this is still quite sweet for me. I'm not gonna sack the token there, I'm just gonna pay the full price of 7 mana here. The token is especially relevant for the Scavenger here, making it a 5/4. if need be. I guess they are just 3 colors because I mean they have a green 2-drop, they have white 2-drop, they have black 2-drop, so it's a 3-color deck. Now if I draw more lands I shouldn't play them because I might find the collector's vault. So I can start looting. Okay, they have a Hamlet. Okay, well, talk about the perfect target for... Okay, well, first of all, it is... Yeah, okay, they have the phone, so they have all the colors. So, first of all, I'm just gonna do this. And then this is becoming a 1-1 after that. And I'm going to sack the Spreading Seas, because this gives them the colors and I can just attack with with my own 1-1 into their 1-1, so yeah. Quite nice. They have a bunch of life, so they can take this here. But at least they don't have a bunch of life anymore. Tough Cookie works on yeah, also on my turn, so they can make some 4/4s there. So they can make actually 2 4/4s. Yeah, that's bad. Oh man. Tough Cookie is such a good card. They can make 2 4/4s there. That's the problem. Because of the fawn. So they could double block the Hamlet Glutton and that would be horrible. But what I can do is I can attack with my Scavenger. I don't mind trading it with a food token here. Okay, that's fine. I guess they can double block, why not? To make sure it dies, that's actually a reasonable thing to do. There's no way for me to get death touch on this thing. Okay, so Tough Cookie turning their food into actual kill spells. But that's what it does. At least that means they get less life from the food because they had to use it in combat. Okay, they were able to surveil a useless thing there. Alright, so I can now bounce something. This only bounces, by the way, their things. I can't, for example, bounce the witch if I wanted to reuse it. So they have a 4/4 in here. So now they can have a 4/4 and a like a 2/2. This has an EDB. This, of course, I won't bounce. I could bounce the fawn, which means that they have to use. Yeah, I guess I'll bounce the fawn here. And then I'm gonna sadly trade with the. I mean, the Tough Cookie is really, really going to. I mean, they basically eat 2 of my big creatures. Oh, that was an accident. They sacked the. Oh man, the opponent messed up big time. That's really horrible because this, of course, has the activated ability to just gain 3 life by sacrificing it. What a horrible misclick. So they were going to, of course, make this into a 4/4 and then you know, block this so that this dies. But now it's so miserable for them. But I mean, what can I do? I'm not gonna concede the game because it wasn't even like a game winning thing. All right, they get something back still, but they actually don't have them. No, well, they do because of the land drop. Okay, well. Even though they made a mistake there, they are still in a very decent shape. At least I get these good draws here still. So they again have the 3 mana to make a 4/4, which makes attack with the Diminisher Witch bad. But yeah, with the second Hamlet Glutton, okay. This is fine. This is fine. I mean, if I do attack with the Diminisher Witch and they choose to block the Witch with the 4/4, how are they gonna deal with the rest of the stuff? Well, they're gonna jump on the Gatekeeper with the Dream Thief. But actually the rest of the... I mean, let's say they block this with the 4/4. In order to kill the Klaxon, they would have to put all the... Okay, yeah, this is actually... I don't think they have a good block if they block the Witch with the 4/4. They don't have a good block on the 6/6 Trampler in that case. Yeah. Yeah, they are. I mean, thanks to me drawing this thing again, it's impossible for them, almost impossible for them to survive. But they also made the mistake. I don't know how this would have gone if they didn't, make the misclick on the previous turn, or on my previous turn, the turn before the what was my penultimate turn, or how to say it. Anyway, this is now edelle. I mean. Yeah, 2 6-power creatures, and well, and the 3-power creature. They can draw a card and lose a life with this, but they also need 3 mana to activate. Okay, well, game goes on. That said, they had to sack the food for that, so I mean now they don't have any. This target non-creature artifact, yeah. They have no other things to animate. So let's now see, if I attack with the Witch, what happens if they block it with the Hamlet Klaxon? I don't like that now. I'd rather just trade here. Because they can kind of take the damage, eat it for free, jump block the Gatekeeper with the phone, and go to 3, and then they still have the Klaxon left. I think this is better. I think I'm gonna play the land because I can also draw the 5 mana card draw spell. If I draw the Vault, I can still discard this 1 land I have. Okay, they need to have good top decks, but I have had some good ones, but I have had some... Well, that's a heck of a good top deck. Wow. Well, now I'm actually starting to think that it was critical that they made the misclick there, because their continuation has been amazing with Pack for Seconds, drawing the Klaxon and now drawing this hollow Scavenger, which again makes this live. So I don't even have an attack with the Gatekeeper because they can double block with the Fawn and the 4/4, and I can't even kill both of them. Wow. Well, it's a top deck war now. It is a top deck war now. I have good top decks, but I also have like bad ones, including Hatching Plans. I have used a lot of my bargain now. Well, that actually is not doing much. It allows them to scry though. This tough cookie defines the entire game. And of course the fact that they have gotten a lot of food from their cards, but this tough cookie has done so much work, and if they didn't misclick on the one in the 1 turn, I would be actually having a lot of trouble here. But they get to scry 2 now. I'm also, flooding a bit, of course, but still, I have a 17 land deck. This 9, 11, 1 in the graveyard, 5. Okay, 5 lands left, 14 spells. Scry 2 on top. Well, I mean, I'm at 24, so they're not gonna win just like that, but this tough cookie is starting to annoy the heck out of me. Well, there's the Hatching Plans. Well, we'll see. I still have like the counter spell. I haven't scried any of that to the bottom of the deck, no. So I have the counter spell. I have both of the Klaxons are here, and one of the Diminisher Witches. So what is the 1 counter spell, 1 Diminisher Witch, and then the Oath. Yeah, the 2 mana 2/2 that exiles an artifact or enchantment. That is three things with the bargain. All right. I mean, the Greta here is also just pretty sick. Okay, are they actually... are they gonna have a trick here? Because this is a good double block for me. Okay, well, I see. I mean, if they have a trick, they have a trick. I mean, I of course lose both of these, but it's not a big deal. I'm just happy to get rid of that. Maybe they have like another way to get stuff back from the graveyard. Okay, I need to start drawing some of my non-lands now, because this is getting... I mean, if they get like a Hamlet Glutton back here, they might have the creature with Adventure that gets a card back from the graveyard. And they are 2 life. And the only reason I had to stop attacking is a tough cookie with all these foods. Wow, that's quite the card. I mean, I think this has performed way better than on average. Yeah, they have this thing. So, I mean, they can even give it a counter with the Greta. So it's a 7/7. I can't even trade with it. So if I draw like yet another land, I'm gonna start being in a bad shape. Okay, that makes this guy into a 1/1. Sadly, that's not being enough. Because they still... Well, it's gonna help me at least. It's not maybe enough, but it's gonna help me. And I didn't have an attack there because they had to gain 3 mana for this thing. And I also actually need some blockers now, but I have now some. Okay, that's... I'm gonna make a recount here. So that is now 1 land in the graveyard. 2, 3, 4 plus 9. That's 13. 4 lands, 12 spells. Okay. But I do have time. Okay, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? That they had the royal treatment here. I'm not conceding. That was actually just like a kind of like a reaction to that. Because the fact they had a royal treatment not only makes this stay a big creature, it made my Vantress Transmuter go to graveyard. They have literally drawn just gas while I have drawn these lands. I don't think I can win this in any way now. There's no way I can win. Tough Cookie is really tough now in this game. I think the only white thing in their deck is actually the 2/2 which has the black Adventure. Are they still gonna have something that... I mean, this attack... Why wouldn't they attack with everything? I don't understand. Maybe they have still a trick that allows them to... Or do they think... Did they think this is a... because the food sacrificing is a plus bomb, is a sorcery speed. No. Forget about all of what I said. Yeah, okay. I mean, once I got them to 2 life or 3 life, I was... and had all those big things there, I was like, I'm in a very good shape here. But they had the tough cookie back again with multiple foods, threatening to make 4/4s that can, you know, trade with my 6/5 so that they don't even lose anything else than just the food token. And they got the things back from the graveyard, the Hamlet Glutton again. They played basically 3 Hamlet Gluttons in this game. They had the royal treatment, preventing me to even cast this thing back from the exile zone. That was a little bit of a frustrating game 3, but that's what sometimes, of course, happens. I guess they still won despite their, you know, misclick with the tough cookie, which was pretty funny because I was like 90% sure at that point that I'm gonna win the game, but the 10% kicked in. I'm on the draw, sadly. because if they have a fast start, I will be in trouble. But I can't really mulligan this hand. The Collector's Vault actually helps me get the 3rd mana for the return from the wilds if I don't naturally draw it. So this is and I also have the Tempest Heart here, which I could consider running on turn 2 actually. Not anymore, because I got the 3rd. Maybe if I didn't draw a land there, maybe I could have gone for the Scan the Clouds. That's a good one. But okay, I don't mind having more lands. Let's get the 1/1 here and an island. And I will most likely block the 1/1 there. They have their I don't see any point taking damage from that thing. Gale Fang. Oh, I was... I want to hit my land drops. I was thinking about using the vault and then discarding something that allows me to still play a land this turn and playing the Tempest Heart, because I could do that. I'm gonna play the Tempest Heart because I want to give it a counter from into the fair card. So I'm gonna do that. It will block the Lord Skitter. This is all assuming they don't have removal. If they do, I go down to 12. Well, we'll see. Okay, this thing says food tokens or any food they have. Tap for green. Grace will take. Oh, okay, come on. Sure. And then they can activate this, and their creatures get very big based on the amount of food they have. So I guess I'll just have to, just in case, exile it, and I'll just play the Werefox here. Yeah, I can do it. I could exile just the food, but I think they will have more food given that they are black-green. So let's get rid of this before it becomes an actual problem. And I can now just play these to you know, block the Gale Fang. Hopefully they don't have even more removal. But then I have the 6/7, and then I hope they don't have removal for that. Then we'll see. Okay, so how do I play with this thing now? So, because this of course means that if I block the Butcher, they have a means to get some advantage out of it. I don't think that forcing the 4 damage is making that much sense right now. Well, I believe I just want to get rid of their tricks, so let's block here and make them use their cards. Leaving ambush, okay. And that thing. Okay, is this again one of those games where the opponent just... I mean, they had the double spell with a... So they had a relevant 1 mana trick to actually not only kill this but save their Butcher, but also the 5 mana spell to put a massive amount of stuff on the battlefield. Because of course I lose now, as you can see. They just curved out perfectly. I can play this 6/7, but then I lose to the attack, regardless. Well, okay then. That's... I need to have some kind of curve outs like that myself here. I really do. I guess the Graceful Takedown is making me want to play the Attendants here, so let's do that. And I suppose I'll cut what exactly? Not the early drops, I need to have the possibility to have those around. Maybe the Werefox, maybe the... No, not the Transmuter, it's good against the green deck, and you know, making these into smaller ones is good. So I'm going to cut the Werefox actually. But yeah, that was just a perfect curve out by the opponent. Double spelling when I play only 1 spell is Well, that's the recipe to success. Well, I mean, I can't not keep this because I have the ice out for the hatching plans. But of course, I do need to draw some lands. But I have, playables at 2 mana here. I can bounce, I can play the Prowler. And I think I'm going to play the Prowler regardless in here. Because I don't want to discard to hand size. Okay, that's okay. I can bounce that. Okay, and also the forest draw was pretty amazing there. They will get a couple of counters on this thing. Oh, come on. So there goes my Bellona Gatekeeper. Because this has... Oh man. That's a rare even. It's not really something you expect. That's like the only way to interact with stuff that... only way to interact with stuff that... is in the exile. Not that I was able to play it anytime soon. But also I didn't draw land here, so this is gonna be a 5-4, a 5-6 I mean. I could do this, but I don't even want to discard anything here. I'll just play the hatching plans and I mean I feel like I'm losing this game now. I mean, this is just a perfect curve out by the opponent. Also the Welcome to Sweet Tooth is just an incredibly good card. Yeah, I don't know. How do I beat this thing? I draw 2 lands back to back. I honestly think the only way to win here is to actually play this and draw the... I mean, to have a chance to victory is to draw a forest on the next turn, play the Hamlet Glutton, crack the hatching plans, have a, 4-5 and a 6-6. Man, that start. In both games they just have a perfect curve outs. It's just, I mean, my deck isn't that slow. And I didn't draw... I didn't draw the forest. I drew a land, but it wasn't the forest. I mean, I would have had like some kind of a small chance of victory. Now I have to do this. Making this into 1-1 isn't even that good. It's somewhat okay, but this still will be a 4-4 because it has a token and a couple of counters. Now, am I going to block here? I really don't want to. Yeah, I mean, I'm so behind here that I'm just gonna lose to whatever is, if they have a way to enhance it or something. Flash creature, the 3-1. Actually, I can block the 3-1 with the 1-1. Just a Grim Surge there, but they get to... Yeah. Well, I guess there's also the thing that I can play a Diminisher with... No, but it doesn't do much, because, they will... It's still a 4-4 after I make it into a base 1-1. So let's first see if I even can even untap here still. Because they're gonna have a lot of selection here. So they look at the top 4 cards. They can choose up to 2 of them. Okay, they actually saw... Yeah, they saw 2. I mean, they kept 2 of them, so I assume I'll just lose to some effect that makes them deal 2 extra damage. Yeah, I don't think this deck is that bad, but as you can see from all the the game 3 in the first match, here in the game 1 and game 2, opponent got some pretty good stuff going on. This is not that slow of a deck, but the Sentinel, picking the counters, me not having an answer. I bounced the token because I kind of had to use my mana somehow. And then maybe I should have waited until they get the counters and hope that they put... Well, it's not here the card that I used for the bounce, but I mean, I could have maybe considered that once they get the 2 counters on something, I hope they target something that has mana value of 3 or less, and then I could bounce that thing with that has the counters. So maybe that was a misevaluation by me, but was that the only mana usage for that turn? I don't know. Anyway, an incredibly annoying match there too, because I really expected to have some wins with this deck. I guess I can still try to have one, but this is nasty. Okay, on the play, this is a nice hand. I guess my win streak had to end somewhere, but with a pretty frustrating style, because I think this deck has potential to maybe not, it doesn't always go 3-0, of course not, but I mean the losses have been somehow like a nasty losses, like a anomalies or something like that. Especially the match 1 game 3, that was like a unbelievable somehow. This thing cannot bounce my own things. It would be sweet to bounce the scavenger, but this is only a creature you don't control. I might as well do this right away, because there's nothing else I'm gonna do here. Except there is, but I can do it anyway. I kind of forgot the Vanguard has an ability. This is still fine. I guess the only difference is that I was supposed to do this first and then do the looting at the end of their turn with more information available, but all things considered, this is, I mean, now I'm having the good start and they are not. So, unassuming Sage there, and I can actually bounce that if I want to, but let's see. Hatching plans. Well, let's just get all the perfecties here then. Oh, I don't have a land drop, but I do have the treasure, so I have access to 5 mana. I think I first attack because I let them block, of course. I can just eat my food and then they will lose the creature. And now that... Yeah, well, this is a perfect one, because I wanted to play the hatching plans and then I can use this to bounce this, and they basically wasted their previous turn entirely. I guess I could have done that even before attacks. Yeah, if that's the best thing they have, it's not good for them. I get to crack my hatching plans now with the Glutton. Am I gonna be greedy? Because I could attack now. Yeah, I'm greedy. I don't think they are gonna block. Yeah, because it's the... I mean, I can just sack the food and that's it. But now I get to do this. Bargain. Pay the mana. Sack. Hatching plans. Yeah. I won't actually play the scavenger now because I'd rather pick up the counters for this thing. So, I mean the bakery raid. Is this like mono white or are they missing a color? This feels almost unfair because if they are like 0-2, because I do think my deck is should maybe not be 0-2, and if they have like a bad draft and they have like a little bit of a weak deck and now they're up against this deck, which is, you know, not stumbling now at all. They couldn't even attack with the Sage there. Now I can exile the Knightly Valor. Do I have mana to do everything I want to? Yes, there is. That is possible. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play the food token here. By the way, the vault is gonna make this increase in size every turn. And then I'm going to bargain here, sack a food token, and exile the Knightly Valor. So they have a 3-3, 2-2 and 1-1. If they want to triple block, be my guest. I'm not attacking with the scavenger here because I can on a future turn make it into a 5-5, 5-4. They could still have the Wrath effect, but look at the amount of cards I have in here. Okay, they can steal a... yeah, I have enough life to not worry about this. So even if they rat the board, I have these, you know, this stuff in my exile to cast them and refill the board. So they have how many enchantments? 1. So this can become a 2/2. Sure. Okay, I might as well do the blocks here like this. Now they're tapped out. So no reason to do anything else than win here. Okay. The difficulty, at least in this game, was very different from the difficulty in the first 2 matches. Although I did win 1 game in the first match and was very close to winning the game 3 there, but they just kept drawing gas while I didn't draw it quite as well. Mono white based on what I saw. I mean, that's just. I guess I need to be aware of this threaten effect, so I should be not risking too much. But other than that, I think this is just a fine build. Should be enough, unless they were like 2 colors and didn't draw the second one at all, and maybe they now are like an explosive white-red deck. Then I could be in trouble. Okay, I'm keeping it. I have a Hatching Plans and the Diminisher Witch. But of course, again, I do need a land. It can be an island though, even. Of course, forest would be a lot better. I got the island. So, making this into base 1/1, I'm actually not sure how it goes. I don't know which overrides which. But I might do it for science. Will this be permanently a 1/1 if I make it a base 1/1, or will this ability override it? I actually don't know. But okay, do I have to actually discard the hand size? Yes, I don't want to do that because I have a perfectly, you know, fine play here in the entry denied here now. I guess this is not the most mana efficient play, but I didn't want to discard the hand size. Okay, they are having stuff in there. Okay, well that's going to work quite nicely also. Yeah, I'm actually going to do this. I will counter the, you know, the whatever they're gonna cast. Maybe the Pie Wielder, maybe something else. Okay, that definitely. And I need to consider now blocking at guard. Yeah, I could make this into a bigger creature at some point, but I'm not gonna take 7 here. Every trade also makes this thing smaller. Okay, so only 1 green mana, let's keep that in mind. Maybe I should just do this for science. I honestly don't know how it works, but there's another way to get a cursed roll token there. But what is the mana efficient play? Well, I'll do this. Let's try it. Because I really don't know. Will it be a 1/1 or not? It will. Well, that's fantastic. Now I'm happy. So, I guess with 1 forest I don't have time to make all this food, so let's just play the 3/2 here. They have the tapper there, so they can still push some damage. I guess the spreading seas will be used for the Diminisher Witch to make the Pie Wielder into a 1/1. That like makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I didn't use the untap, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, they are gonna have enough white mana. Okay, there's that, and then bargain. Eat this. more curses. It will still be able to gain double strike, but well, looking at my hand here, I shouldn't be in too much trouble. I'm at 10 life, so even if they find like a flyer, yeah, they have no. Okay, well, they have a double strike. They didn't attack with it. That's interesting, exactly. Actually, okay, so now I could do this, but then I can't do anything else. I can play the Vantress Transmuter and make a Scavenger. I mean, make the food here. But getting another green mana with this would be very valuable as well. But I guess getting the 3-4 isn't bad, so let's do it like this. At least I can use my green mana for a green spell. Yep. Yeah, they were not interested in continuing the game. Well, I guess I had fun there, but yeah, maybe if they'll have like a land in hand, they have no attacks in that case. If they have an enchantment, they could tap and then they can use these to tap, but still I was at 10. Well, I guess the best thing is that now I know how the cursed token works with the Bunnycorn and such effects. It works beneficially for the controller of the cursed roll token. Alright, I won. It's at least more fun to end the event to a victory, but man, those. I would actually, I would say that the match 2 was more like a normal thing. The opponent has twice a very good curve out, and if you have a good deck, and of course you can make those curve outs, they definitely deserve it. But the match 1, game 3, that was like that's a painful thing to rewatch if I ever was to rewatch it, and I'm not going to rewatch that. Please, if you notice some mistakes I made there, don't make me rewatch it because I don't wanna. I want to forget it. I could have easily won that match because it was game 3, so I mean, winning that game, I would have won the match. All right, well, I just think this deck was, I mean, could have been better. I would have preferred maybe other things than the Diminisher Witch to double Diminisher Witch to have you know, ways to bargain this thing. Like a Yuan stopgap could have been good. Did I have that as an option at some point and I chose not to pick it? Or did I take something over it? Actually, I have a blackout now. What did I pick from the pack that I think had a Yuan stopgap? I don't actually know what it was. Or was it like a mythic rare? I don't know. So this deck could have been slightly more tuned better. Oh, by the way, I never saw. Oh, I think I saw this, but I never cast this. Now, this would have been so good in the flooded out game 3 in the match 1. Oh, if I just drew this and kill their big thing, and or actually kill the tough cookie and get a card, probably from the top 5. Alright, well, I like the deck. 1-2 is a disappointing result. I would have preferred to get at least 2 wins because I think this deck could have deserved it. But who am I to say that my opponents don't deserve wins as well? So that's that. Let's claim the prize, and this was the end of my win streak of 3 drafts of getting trophies. But let's hope I can get back to the trophy train in the next video then. I hope I see you then. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.